Okay, so we have 1 week left until Smash Switch E3. Just finished Smash and Splash. I think this is the perfect time to talk about my final tier list for Smash Wii U. So, let's get into it. I'm going from the top down. So if you want to find your character, feel free to skip around. Let's start with Bayeux. Everyone knows she's the best character in the game. You know, big hitboxes. She can combo and kill you off basically anything. Her advantage state is crazy, so she doesn't kill you off the combo. She can kill you off edge guarding or keep you in the air. Her disadvantage state is amazing because of Bats Within and Witch Time, and her specials that move her in the air. And just a lot of characters can't fight her. A lot of them can't hit her neutral. A lot of them can't do enough damage after hitting her. And a lot of them get blown up off of one hit. And there's a reason she has the most results in the game by far, and that's just because she has everything a character could want, and the Bayeux have figured out how to abuse it to a point where a lot of matchups feel impossible versus her. After her, you have Cloud. I know a lot of people disagree on him being second and him being in the same tier as Bayeux. My logic is, even though he's not nearly as good as Bayeux, he's just as oppressive to most of the cast, with the only character that definitely beats him being Sheik, and everyone else arguably is even or losing versus him. You know, crazy neutral, so much better than Bayeux, with big, fast, safe hitboxes. Advantage state is crazy with up air and neutral air. His disadvantage state is a big weakness, but he's so heavy he can take hits. His main weakness has always, of course, been his recovery, but lately Cloud players have figured out how to recover. Lots of characters can't cover certain recovery angles or options in a way that kills Cloud. As long as Cloud doesn't die, he's in the game, and once he has Lemon, he's basically winning the game. So, it's really hard to fight a Cloud player that knows this and abuses it. And that's why it's so oppressive. That's why even characters like Rosa or Diddy Kong, who have good edge guarding, cannot consistently kill him and beat the Clouds because we can't edge guard them if they play it right. And yeah. Afterwards, you have A tier. I put Sheik as number 3rd, partly because Void wins Smash and Splash. Okay, no, I'm kidding. I'm glad he won it though, because I was gonna put Sheik at 3rd regardless, because she's one of those characters who's so good in every way. Her neutral is amazing with needles. Her dash speed and just movement speed is crazy. Her ability to whiff punish things with grabs and forward airs and avoid attacks is amazing. A combo game off anything is cool. The disadvantage state because of Bouncing Fish is really good. And she does everything a character could want. It's just, if she makes one mistake, she gets punished. The thing that Void did at Smash and Splash was he realized her main weakness, though, was killing. And what he started doing is he would up smash people's landings, because if he guesses right and he up smashes the landing, they can be dead at like 70 or 80 depending on the character. But if he guesses wrong and they air dash through the up smash or evade it, a lot of times Void isn't getting punished that hard. He might get dash attacked or grabbed, but that's generally not a big deal. And yeah, combine that also with things like Needles, Bouncing Fish is a classic kill option, forcing ledge trumps and killing people with like Bouncing Fishes and stuff after forcing options from the ledge trump. And just the way Void was playing was basically perfect Sheik, to a point where, like, if Sheik always played like that, or if Void always played like that, she'd be the best character in the game, easily. Like, this is a Sheik that we've always been talking about since day one, is the way he played at Smash and Splash. But Sheik has always had this potential, and I put her as number 3 because she's always had this potential, and she's always done well. There's never been a matchup where Sheik players go, I can't do this. And she has every tool she wants. I put Fox as 4th because Fox is just good. Like, when Fox goes off, he goes off. Sometimes he up airs you once and you don't get to play the game anymore, as he up airs you 4 or 5 more times. And when he hits you with a lot of stuff, he can set up into so much damage. You know, down air, light does fair drag down on stage, and tech chases you for combos or kills. His natural speed makes it hard to hit him in neutral because he can just run away with lasers. He can whiff punish you with a lot of things. He can pressure you with dash attacks and back airs and aerials. And his only real weakness has just been how easy he is to combo in his disadvantage state. But he's a cool character in that he is a disadvantage state where if he guesses right, he turns it around on you with side Bs or landing down airs or air dodging past you and dash attacking you for jumping in the air. And depending on your character, he has a way to get around your advantage state and punish you for it. Combine that with his advantage state, like I said, basically being you don't get to play the game, he kills you really early. And you have this really explosive character he you're never really beating until you win the game verse. And has a great matchup spread overall because of that. Afterwards is Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong was weird where he actually probably does the worst versus like the mid and the high tiers compared to the rest of the top tiers. And that is because this is a character that is versatile. He has so many good options. He has good aerials, good grounded options. Banana is amazing. Recovery is good enough. His Vantage State is good enough. His rolls are ridiculous. But the thing is, all these options are punishable. And so, what's cool about Diddy Kong is he is the most diverse playstyles among all the players. You have to fight aggressive Diddy Kongs so differently than defensive Diddy Kongs. Very differently than Diddy Kongs that want to focus on spacing out versus ones that want to, camp banana. There's just so many ways to play him. And that versatility is what carries him so far. Because you always have to be ready for the Diddy Kong to just mix up their style and their options. Combine that with, Banana just shutting down a lot of options, great kill confirms, just being very hard to hit due to his size. And you just have this solid character that, he doesn't really beat a lot of the characters, he doesn't really do bad versus them. I know that Zero in tournaments, he has not the greatest results, but you still get Shuryo James making top 8. You guys are doing well at nationals still, and this character still has the results without his top player there. Combine that with just being one of the best characters versus Cloud and Bayeux, and you have a definite top 5 character that barely holds on to that 5th spot. Sonic is a character, actually this entire A- tier is a tier of characters who I think could be an A tier if they didn't have really bad matchups versus one, if not both, of Cloud and Bayeux. And Sonic has particular trouble with Bayeux. Character is crazy good at neutral due to his speed. Spin Dash is a broken option in every way. He's a weird character because on paper his tools don't sound so great, but in practice Spin Dash is such a good option that carries him really hard. Come out just being able to dash around and be almost impossible to hit. He has really interesting gimmicky kill options with up air, spring up air at the right percent. Forward smash is a ridiculous option to kill people both in neutral and as an edge guard or to catch ledge options or just really anything. Back air is a cool option. His landing game is alright. He has enough aerial drift and a good enough fall speed and good enough weight that he can take hits and also play around getting combo too hard. And his recovery is really solid as well, so a lot of times you have to win neutral over and over versus him, but it's hard to win over and over. Rosalina is a character that's so oppressive in neutral. She's so ridiculously oppressive. But if she loses Luma, of course, she's garbage. So she's basically forced to win neutral over and over, and her advantage state's also really oppressive, but she doesn't really kill you off advantage state unless she makes hard reads. She'll up air you a lot, she'll jab you a lot, she'll grab you a lot, but unless you make mistakes, she's not killing you until 120 or 30 with an up smash or an air or a down air or a forward smash. And the thing about her is if she makes one mistake and disadvantage, since she's so floaty and she jumps wrong, she can get dash attacked because the opponent landed before her and then they just punish her. Or if they get behind her and hit Luma with an aerial because she has to shield and she loses Luma, then she doesn't have a punishing advantage state. And without Luma, she just is garbage. That's just her main weakness in general. If you hit her once with whatever, get rid of Luma, she stinks. And that's what makes the Cloud matchup really bad. The Bayonetta matchup's also pretty bad, but not nearly as bad. Bayonetta mainly just edge guards her and kills her off the one hit because she's so floaty and light. But she's always done well enough that not only myself, but Samsora recently has done well, Fallen's done well, Kirihara has done well, that she's had a lot of representation in the top 8. Or at least top 16 of major events throughout this game's lifespan. Zero Suit is a character that she is alright in neutral. She has enough pressure in neutral to get away with it, but her advantage state is dumb, of course. She gets one hard read with a grab and she kills you. And the biggest thing about her is her disadvantage state is so good that she can take the damage from getting hit, lose neutral a few times, and win off rage stuff. So, yeah. And that's the reason we've seen Nairo do so well, is he's so good at not dying and getting 1 or 2 reads and killing someone off that grab or that up air. We've also seen Mars do well, he hasn't been traveling much. Choco's done really well in Japan, and I'm sad we never saw him in America, because I think he would have top 8 at least one national event in America if he came here a few times. And, she's always been a relevant character in the meta for good reason, but she struggles really hard with Cloud and Bayeux, and the reason I put her below Rosa is because not only does she struggle hard with Cloud and Bayeux, but then she's also not that great versus Diddy, and just alright versus Sheik, where Rosa's good versus Diddy and Sheik and Fox. And yeah, so that rounds out my top tier. Afterwards is what I consider the high tier, which starts with Mewtwo. His neutral is really good. Down tilt basically shuts out a lot of ground characters. It just pressures people with combos. It can set up kills. It's safe. His neutral air is amazing when people are afraid of down tilt and forward air, because they can just start going with neutral airs and comboing people. Forward air is an amazing air-to-air option for combos, kills, just general spacing. It's super safe if used right. And then Shadow Ball forces people to approach, because if you start charging Shadow Balls, it's sort of like a Samus charge shot, where it's just you have to respect it because there's a lot of damage and kills. But you can also follow up off the Shadow Balls for pressure, so you can't just hang back either and try to avoid them. But if you rush him down, he is, like I said, forward air and down tilt to wall you out. The thing about Mewtwo is he's a really light, big, floaty character, so like pretty much every character in the game hits him once and blows him up. And he doesn't have a Luma to save him. He doesn't have a lot of aerial acceleration. And he has a good enough fall speed to get comboed really hard. And so he might be the most glass cannon character in the game. His recovery game is pretty decent, and his actual aerial movement is alright, but not having a good enough landing aerial is like what really makes his disadvantage garbage. And that's why I think Mewtwo kind of fell off, although Wadi still as well. You know, it's hard for him. Abadongo basically dropped Mewtwo. But that's just the fate of not like top tier characters in this game. Marsinah is a character who has risen just because the character is so good. Like, even though the character struggles a decent amount with like Fox, Sonic, and Diddy, the character is so good versus Bayeux and Cloud compared to most of the cast that it carries him. Keeps characters out with big sword range. The character can't really whiff punish that well. Marsinah is so amazing versus them because like a lot of their stuff on block is really good at the space right. And if you can't whiff punish the character, you have to get inverse the character. But it's hard to get inverse this character if you don't have that much range or speed. And really what this character loses to, and why I think Salem beat MK Leo, and why I think the other Bayous are going to start beating Leo more, now Salem did it, is this character loses the people who just force their way in versus this Marsinah, and just mashes buttons because the character's damage output is kind of not great. And unless you give the character tippers or shield breaks, they don't have particularly high killing power either. It's just that they're very hard to actually like outspace. And that's why you've only really seen like one Marsinah ever do like super well. Mystery's also done well, but he's always been a little bit too impatient. But yeah, patient Marsinah is just crazy at walling. Mario is a character that fell off hard in the meta. Mainly because he doesn't have the range to compete with most of the top tiers. But the thing about Mario is he's always had his grab game. He always has, had, always will have it. You know, he grabs you once, starts doing some down throw, up tilt, up air combos, lots of damage. He has good rage combos. Mario players never really implemented this enough, but his footstool combos and his nair jab resets are crazy. So much damage, really high kill power, and honestly, there's a lot of room for the meta to develop with that if the game was going to be alive for another few years. Fireball camping has always been decent. He's also had good enough edge guard game with forward air and cape. Up smash has always been really good at making sure people can't land on top of you. Fast aerials and decent airspeed has made it hard to keep him at disadvantage, as recovery is decent enough. It's just really all goes back to the fact that he doesn't have enough range or speed in neutral to get inverse people. And yeah, but if he can get in and pressure them, or if he just wants to wait for them to make mistakes and punish them, he's a really good character. Corrin is a character who's too slow. Honestly, if this character was like even Rosa speed, top 5 character in this game, free. Up close, the character's attacks are insane. Power, combo ability, speed, safety, range, everything you want in an attack, she has in her attacks. Has kill and grab, has mid-range kill options with forward smash and pin, which also can be used as an edge guard tool. Her recovery isn't that good. Like, up here has these nice, big, invincible hitboxes, but if you know how to play around the spacing of that, you can kill her pretty easily. Her disadvantage state is garbage due to lack of air speed, but she still has big hitboxes. You have to respect her landing options, which means she has some mix-ups, especially with using back air to move around. And, you know, we've seen Cosmos do well with the character, but we've also seen that the character is always just held back by the inability to fight when she wants to fight. She basically gets to run up to the opponent, and the opponent can say, I want to fight you, or they can say, I'm going to run away and hope you do something. And that's what's always held her back, and always will. Ryu is actually similar in that regard, where he's too slow. So characters, especially like Sonic, can just destroy him by running away. The thing is, Ryu does a lot more damage up close. If he gets in with like a nair, he 50-50s you on shield, where you have to guess if he's going to up tilt or read your roll. He also has Hadouken, so he can kind of force you to shield or do something to deal with Hadouken and then get in. You can even just camp you out with Hadoukens versus some characters. And the thing is, if you have a character that has to fight up close, he's really good versus that character because so much damage output. And of course, focus has made his disadvantage state not that great because characters who can't deal with the focus armor just kind of get blown up for trying to deal with it. He has a pretty bad recovery, so he can't afford to get hit too much, but he's so heavy, and he abuses rage so much that, he can get hit a lot as long as he's getting juggled, and if he gets back on stage after getting juggled, he'll kill you really early. As he's always in the game, and he's always one of those characters that can win off a hard read on anything, because his jump-ins and combo game is so good. Pikachu rounds out the B tier, and the thing about Pikachu is, with Captain Tail starting to do well, we now have proof that it's more than just Esam being godlike, but Pikachu still isn't the greatest character. He still has a lot of trouble with characters that are good up close, and most of the top tier is good enough up close to contest Pikachu. The main characters that struggle with Pikachu are characters like Zero Suit or Marsinah. Actually, not even Marsinah necessarily. Like Zero Suit or Cloud, who can't really keep him out because of his speed, and really can't contest him up close because how good Pikachu is with his fast attacks. Fair is an amazing option. He has good grab combos and kills off his grabs with up throw and down throw thunder. His edge guarding game is amazing, so certain characters hate that. His juggling game is good. He can camp you out due to his speed and thunder jolts. Just spacing in general with forward smash and fair is great. And he has all these good attributes overall, but the lack of range has always kept him back. Along with lack of kill power. Like, he can kill you with like grab combos, but he has to guess in the DI. He can smash you with up and forward smash, but he has to read you pretty hard to get those. Fair drag down up smash works with rage, but that's kind of situational. And certain characters can't be edge guarded. So yeah. Afterwards we have C tier at Night, almost with Meta Knight in B tier. The thing about Meta Knight is he has one of the best footsies games in this game. You whiff something, he dash attacks you. You shield, he grabs you. The problem with him is he always has to guess. If unless you give him like an obvious like easy dash grab or attack opening, he has to go in and guess, and if you guess right, you can block or spot dodge whatever and then punish him really hard, because he's at the perfect weight to be comboed, but he's so light that he gets killed really easily. His recovery game is great, and his multiple jumps means he's very to edge guard, but like he loses a few neutral exchanges and he just dies. I do think there was potential for this character to grow though, because of how good he is at just dashing around, great roll, space dash attack can be safe. His aerials aren't too good, but like short hop down air is not the worst thing in the world. But we never really saw enough of him. And of course, I can't forget to mention his kill power if any hit is ridiculous due to his combo game. Now Luigi. This is like the opposite of Meta Knight. He has awful footsies game. He's way too slow to get in. His fireball game is alright, but most characters have natural counterplay to it. So he kind of just relies on running up to people and perfect shielding, because his shield, due to his traction, if you hit his shield, he gets pushed back really far. So he's forced to perfect shield things to not take that shield push. Now if he can grab you though, he does a lot of damage. If you're next to him in the air, his fast aerials along with combo ability and power just like oppress you. And of course if you make a mistake, he can always up B you as a hard read or as a hard punish and like a dash attack. So he's one of those characters that gets going really quickly and destroys you. But the zoners in this game, like Mewtwo, Rosa, Cloud, just have always kept him out so hard that if they play it right, he should never get in. And that's why you see like Elegant not doing too well lately, because the character doesn't have the tools to deal with super hard defense. Falcon. Falcon is actually one of the most well-rounded characters in this game. He like loses or goes even with every top tier, but he doesn't lose awfully to any of them, because he can always just dash grab you and kill you off that. Crazy combos. Back air is an amazing spacing tool. In general, he's just always been so good at like if you're fighting him and he reads you, he has some ways to punish you. He can outspace you with back airs, forward smashes, side Bs, with punish you, with grabs. He can hit you from above with up air knee if he sees you pressing a button on the ground. His disadvantage state is a little bit underrated. Yes, he gets comboed hard, but when he's actually recovering, he has decent enough mix-ups with where he's going to drift during up B. He can also just side B. His weight makes it a little bit hard to kill him. When you're juggling him, you always can just fast fall an option and like mix it up with air dodges, attacks. And so you always have to kind of be not messing up in an advantage state to keep him there. And the thing is, he punishes you really hard if you mess up in an advantage state or if he just reads you hard. So because he always has that kind of like counterplay no matter where he is and the ability to kill you, he's at least a high tier character. and the reason Fatality is so inconsistent with him is just because that's how a character is. Sometimes he guesses right and destroys you. Sometimes he guesses wrong and gets bodied. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say I'm underrating Peach here. The thing about Peach is she only really has an air game. Like, her air game is insane. Forward air spacing is ridiculous. Down air is ridiculous pressure option. Combos off her down air and air are crazy good. She has a good enough grab game. But her ground game isn't that great. Her airspeed is kind of average. And she doesn't really have much after that. Turn-ups are alright, but they're not with the force approaches. They're alright for pressure. But even then, like, if you see your opponent turn-up, you can pressure her. A lot of characters can just kind of challenge her with turn-up hand, no big deal. She's light. Her recovery is alright. Some characters can edge guard it really hard. Her landing game is alright. She has high air acceleration, and she's floaty. But she doesn't have big landing hitboxes, so, like, she can't challenge a Cloud or Bayonetta just up airing her over and over. And Samsara's done very well with her, but you can see the limits of her ability when a player just kind of waits for Peach to do something and with punishes her, or when a player sees how she floats, and if a player figures out how the Peach player is floating and knows their answer to it, it's very hard for her to do her thing. Because some characters can just challenge her float directly. Some of them can just run away from it and challenge her landing. Some of them can prevent her from jumping. From jumping with lots of pressure. And it's a rough life for Peach. So she's barely a high tier character in my opinion. Afterwards, my final high tier is Lucario. I know this is a character a lot of people are going to say, why is he high tier? I feel like Lucario was always underdeveloped. His neutral is very basic, where you want to dash around looking for grabs, dash attacks, and spacing some back air and some aura spheres. And obviously you want to get hit. And when you get hit, he's absurd. And the thing is, in this meta, characters kill very early. But, like, he has a good enough recovery to not get edge guarded. His disadvantage state isn't that bad due to Bayeux versus aura spheres and down air stalling. He's heavy enough, and when he has a, like, 80% aura, his back air is really hard to deal with. His aura spheres are hard to deal with. And combine that with just really good foxtrots, let him get grabs, and he has a great roll, and he has fast attacks. You know, if he just plays a basic footsies game and doesn't die, he's actually one of the best characters in the game. It's just that it's so difficult versus the top tiers to get to that point where you're like at aura percent and not die. After that, we start not just the mid tier, but what I consider the tier of characters that were really good before DLC, and because of the DLC power creep, aren't relevant anymore. And this doesn't necessarily mean they're bad versus DLC, although a lot of them are. It just means that the DLC forced players to pick up the characters in the S and A and B tiers, which are like just better characters than the D tiers. So starting off with Greninja, I honestly don't have much to say about him. He has like everything you want. You know, he has a really good camping game with shurikens, good combo game. His main issue was he's easy to combo, and his movement's kind of awkward, because a lot of times, I don't know, at least when I play him and I see him be played, I feel like whenever he commits to a movement, he's really committing to like anything he does. And I feel like his recovery is very easy to get, so he kind of is a little bit too committal, and too easy to edge guard, and too easy to keep him disadvantaged. When he gets going, he's hard to hit, and when he just camps with shurikens, he's really hard to hit. Now, Megaman is one of the biggest casualties of Bayeux. This character cannot deal with characters that can jump in from an angle with safe pressure and camp him out. So, like, Sheik's also really bad for him because Sheik jumps in with Pharaohs and camps with Needles. And basically that's how you beat Megaman. If you can camp him out, outrange his lemons, or if you can jump at him safely with aerials, or you can just whiff punish, not whiff, like burst him down with like dash attack safely, he struggles. And that's kind of what people figured out. You know, he still has decent grab game. His Metal Blade's alright. He still has footstool, jab blocks, but people know how to avoid that. Just don't hit his shield dumbly. His back air trump game is very nice, but everyone knows about it, so people just try to go to the ledge versus him, and then he struggles killing. And in general, his kill options outside back air are really high commitment. And that's really bad in this game, when most of the top tiers kill you really easily with like safe options. But yeah, honestly, if Bayeux didn't come out, he probably still would be like a C or even a B tier character. Because his camping game versus most of the cast is just good enough to keep them out, or just good enough to be able to kind of pressure them and get in their face and start grabbing them. Now, Toon Link's a character that gets bodied by Bayeux and Cloud. And he kind of has the same issue, where if a character can jump at him safely, he doesn't have the air range to contest it. He has like a butter knife, but his ground game is really poor, so he has to jump. So those characters that just beat him air to air, destroy him. His projectile game's alright, but characters that are fast can just rush him down before he can pull up projectiles, and without his bombs or his boomerangs, he's just kind of not a good character. And then a lot of characters can just avoid their projectiles through natural movement speed, or options like gravity pull. And if he can't pressure with projectiles, which he can't versus a lot of top tiers, then he loses his biggest strength. He still has a decent kill option with back throw. His smashes are so powerful. He still has really powerful options in general. If he hits you with a bomb fair or like an up air ever, you can die really early. It's just that there's too much counterplay to his projectile game to be a even high tier character. Now, Olimar is a character I play a lot, of course. I kind of dropped him, and the reason I dropped him is mainly because he can't really kill. Like, his neutral is still absurd, but that's all he really has is an absurd neutral with forward smashes, Pikmin throws, and pivot grabs. But his advantage state is basically non-existent because all of his aerials are, except for neutral air, use Pikmin, and Pikmin are item property, meaning any attack will beat his aerials. Like if he up airs and Mario down airs, Mario down air always beats the up air. And so as a result, he can't really hit people with aerials or they mash buttons, which means he doesn't have a good advantage state. He's also very slow, so he can't chase people's landings well. And then he has really bad airspeed himself, so if you put him in the air, he can't land. He has Whistle, but it's not a good enough option versus fast repeating aerials like Cloud's up air. So a lot of characters just him in the air once and keep him there. His recovery is good, but he can't get the ledge either because his airspeed sucks and because in this game naturally regular get up and roll kind of stink, especially if you can't threaten your opponent with anything like ledge drop, fox side B, or like zero suit down B, or anything that just gets off the ledge naturally. His kill options, as I mentioned before, stink. Like forward smash is a powerful option, so is blue up throw, but good players know how to avoid those along with back air and up air, so it's not common to see people live to like 150 versus him, and we know how rage works in this game. Stinks. Now, Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt has a similar issue to Olimar, which is killing. The thing about Duck Hunt is he will eventually kill you. You can't avoid cans and gunman setups and destroying aerials forever. It's just that you're not going to die into like 150, 200 versus him. And all you need to do to kill Duck Hunt is burst him down once. If you read he's going to set up a can or a gunman, rush him down with a dash attack or a dash grab, put him in the air, get him away from his can if possible. And without his can, you can't really land. But even with his can, big aerials and good like just spacing can avoid it and keep him at disadvantage. He's a light character. He has decent range with his disjoints, but not enough. His recovery is really bad. Like, really bad. If you get away from his can, or if you like Rose and you can gravity pull his can, oh, he's done. He doesn't have a great grab game. He needs can setup, so it's kind of easy to see when he's grabbing. Or if he goes for grabs without cans, you're not really worried. And that's kind of the big thing is he's so dependent on his can. But depending on the character, there's natural can counterplay. And especially with Cloud and Bayeux just kind of destroying him. But even then, without those two characters, he just isn't that great versus the rest of the top tier. If he had a bit more kill power, he'd be really good. Also, I should mention that his landing aerials are not safe. So like he can't jump you and space stuff. If he could, then he'd be a lot better character. But as it is right now, you bait out the jump in aerial, free punish. Villager, another casualty of Bayeux, Cloud, and Corrin actually. And even Marsinah getting buffed. Like he can't deal with big disjoints in the air that cut through his forward air and his back air. It's kind of like Olimar where since those characters just cut through his two main aerials, he can't do his aerial spacing game. The thing is, he doesn't have a good ground spacing game either. And then a lot of characters can just crouch to get underneath his aerials, like Rosa can. Diddy Kong is naturally too short along with Pikachu to be hit by his fair and bear. And then if you block in there up close, you can punish him. And downer isn't really good, like this neutral tool. And as a result, he doesn't have a good neutral. You know, if you can deal with his aerials and you win because his ground game's garbage. Lloyd setup's alright, but similar to other setup characters, you can rush him down. Or if your character's a natural option, like reflecting it or just attacking it, then his Lloyd isn't that great. His recovery's great, And his ledge game isn't that bad, so that's the nice thing about him. He can actually afford to lose neutral every now and then. Also, his edge guarding is really good with forward air, back air, and bowling balls. And his tree setups are insane. He also has a decent grab game with combos and kill power. It's just not enough, though, when he gets overwhelmed or he can't approach certain characters. Next is DK. This is a big gimmick. There's some matchups he's really good in. Like, he's good versus Mario. He's good versus Cloud. He's good versus Marsinah. And those characters that can't deal with good grappler, he's really good versus. The problem is there are a lot of characters like Sonic and Rosa who he can't grab because they're too fast or the neutral is too strong. And he can't land versus basically the entire cast because he's a big character without like any big landing hitboxes besides Downer, which is too slow. So, if you recognize that, keep him at disadvantage, body him. And as a result, I put him in D tier because he's sometimes a counterpick character, but when everyone can just go Bayeux and kind of bop him, he's not a particularly viable counterpick character. Next is Link. Link is actually not too bad versus Cloud Bayeux. It's just that he's not really good versus anyone. Like, his fair is a nice tool, his nair is good, he has pretty good grounded tools with jab and his tilts. And his bomb and projectile game is actually really solid, and then his grab game is also good with down throw up airs, down throw up smash for damage, and he just actually is a pretty well-rounded character. The problem is he's so slow. His airspeed is garbage. His ground speed is not that good. Even his attacks come out slow, so if you can pressure him, which a lot of characters can, then he can't press buttons. And his roll isn't that good either, so you can like pressure him, react to the roll, keep pressuring him. Or keep a distance from him, let him press a button, and if he's pulling out a bomb, rush him down. If he goes for an aerial, wait for the aerial and then grab his landing or something. And yeah, that's actually just like he's almost a functional character. And honestly, if T came to the States a little bit more, we might see good enough results from him for me to put him at like a upper D or even lower C tier. Because he has stuff. Samus is a character that has good moves with bad weaknesses. For example, Nair is a great move, but it's only good horizontally. It doesn't hit high or low. Up air is a great move, but it's a great move only if you catch someone like right next to Samus, because it has almost no range. Fair is a great move until you land with it because it has a lot of landing lag. Forward tilt's a good spacing tool until someone whiff punishes it or is up close to Samus. Her grab is great until you realize it's a laggy tether grab. The only great tool she really has is Charge Shot. That tool is just great. I can't say anything bad about it. She can get it. She can whiff punish things with it. She can pressure with it. She can shield break with it. She can play defensively or offensively with it. She can catch jumps with it. It just does everything. And if you're fighting Samus, you kind of have to pressure so she can't Charge Shot. It's just that because all of her attacks can be punished in different ways, she can't deal with the pressure well enough. Also, being a tall character does not help her for hitting the short characters. She also is heavy enough, though, to survive getting hit, and she's kind of floaty, so she can't combo her hard. So she's able to lose neutral a few times, which is really nice. And honestly, she could be upper D tier, even lower C tier, with enough time, but no one ever invested the time into her besides Icy Mist, who doesn't really attend many tournaments. So you never got to see her actual potential if she had any. Now Ness. Ness is a sad story. This character was really good. Like, game came out, he was amazing. And then people realized something. Back air him. Like, if he's off stage, just back air his recovery. If he can't snap to a ledge, he's just dead. So I think that was a big deal. Also, just in general, his neutral isn't that great. He doesn't have good ground game. He has a grab game and a dash attack, but that's it. His aerials don't have much range, like most characters can just outspace him. And since he's floaty, a lot of times if you see him jumping, you just wait for it. You can stay on the ground and catch his landing. And that's the biggest thing is whether he's going for a dash attack or a dash grab or jumping and trying to space things, he's committing to something. And it's easier to just wait him out and punish because he can't force approaches. He doesn't have anything to charge up or any like time-based resource. And yeah, he's even without DLC, he would have just fell off in the meta regardless. Now, E tier is where the characters all kind of just non-functional. Like, this is where I start my low tier. It is all of E tier. They're not all the worst characters in the game, but they all have some like sort of strengths, but their strengths are just balanced by the weaknesses really hard. And this is unordered because it's hard to even order characters that haven't seen that much success in meta. Starting off with Shulk. This is basically a character where if you're not a potato, you'll beat him. Really slow startup on everything means he can't pressure people. And it's easy to just react to stuff and punish him. So yeah, as long as you're not a potato or you're not playing Wi-Fi, just react to stuff and punish him. If you had like safe aerials up close or like safe grounded moves, it'd be a different story. But that's not it. He also has like gimmick with like speed and shield auto camping, but that's not enough because it won't get him the wins. It just keeps him from losing for a bit. Next up is Falcon. He's like a worse Samus in that he has some good things about his moves. Like his back air is nice. His up smash is pretty good. The thing is, he has some really non-functional things as well. Like people follow his jabs. His fair is unnecessarily high amount of landing lag. Nair is like should be good but isn't. Down air isn't a move. His recovery is garbage. And yeah, he's not a well-balanced character. And he has some strong moves that's not made up for it all because of his weaknesses. Next up is Lucas. Now Lucas is just how do I put it? He's a linear character. Once you realize Lucas wants to grab you, all you have to do is throw out these safe hitboxes on the ground like Rosa's down tilt or like a Diddy Kong throwing banana, and just he can't grab you. And without grabbing, he can't really do much. His Nair is alright, but it's hard to hit people with because it's so low range. Fair is kind of hard to hit people with because it's a small hitbox. Zair doesn't do much damage. Sure, it leads him to grab sometimes, but a lot of times you can just mash a button to not get grabbed after getting Zaired. His PK Fire does some damage, but he's not good enough doing PK Fires. His smashes catch people from making mistakes, but overall, as long as you remember he needs to grab you to win, and you just play around that, he's not that great. His landing game isn't good. He can't cut the ledge that well because his fair is not good. Neither is his Nair. He has a great recovery game. You just can't challenge that, but it doesn't matter enough. I'll say he's really good in teams though. Give him a character like Lucario or even Rob and give him healing and he's actually really solid. Mainly because if he can just pressure people with these nice projectiles and decently long-ranged attacks, and as a partner like follows up, that's going to be a lot of damage and a lot of annoyance. Next up is Yoshi. This is a character when the game came out everyone thought would be top tier. Like actually. Really good aerials, really good airspeed, heavy, super armor double jump, down B to break shields, aerial command grab. But what happened is we realized all of his good attributes had one main weakness. He has to be in the air, and it's very easy to challenge his aerials with just natural anti-airs. So as long as you recognize when he jumps and just anti-air his jumps, he has a lot of trouble getting anything going. His egg camping game is alright, but leaves him open if you just rush him down like most projectile characters. And his ground game is really garbage. And he has a lot of trouble killing. He has like jab up smash sometimes, but that's kind of a gimmick. Up air and up to up air is alright, but it's hard to hit people with because he has to get up close, so you can't redo that. And yeah, he is almost a really good character. Also, Cloud Bayeux do shut him down really hard as well. Like if Cloud Bayeux didn't exist, he might still be a D or even C tier character. Next up, Game & Watch. This character is grab and dash attack the character. If your character has to fight up close like Pikachu or Mario, he's actually really obnoxious because he has such a good grab game. And his dash attack is a really great whiff punishing tool and just natural pressure tool. But if your character can keep him out like Mewtwo or Rosa on the ground, and then he just struggles because dash attack isn't that much damage, and his aerials aren't that good, Vesper's ground game isn't that good, and he's a not well-balanced character at all. In fact, I don't like his design because it's too grab-focused. Next is Wario. This character is like Ness in that really bad aerial, not bad aerial game, but if you just stay on the ground after he jumps, you can catch his landing. His ground game is garbage, his grab game is bad. He only has Waft and Bite going for him. Bite because it lets him stall forever, and Waft because it kills people. But as long as you recognize his Waft steps, which are like down air Waft, fair into dash attack, jab, block, waft, bike waft, and using the lingering bike itself to make the hitbox of waft last longer. As long as you avoid all those setups and he can't waft you, he shouldn't win the game. Because that's his only win condition. So he's good for certain players, but at the top level, he can't compete with characters like Cloud or Bayeux who just shut him down with big hitboxes. Next up is Bowser. Bowser's what happened when you take DK and just make him worse, but give him a better grab. Like, DK has a decent enough neutral with his tilts, decent back air, decent enough airspeed to move around, where Bowser his tilts are pretty bad. His jab is okay, and his aerials are not good at all, and his airspeed is just worse. So even though his grab is better, he basically is better versus characters that are bad versus grapplers, but just worse overall versus everyone else. Robin is just another case of too slow. Like, he has decent aerials, Arcfire and his Thunder are both really nice tools to have for zoning. But the problem is he can't run away from people, just rush him down. Or characters outcamp him, he can't approach. So, like, there's only a very small subset of characters that both can't get in his face and rush him down, but also can't camp him out. But even then, because of his limited resource items, like, you can just wait for him to burn his stuff and then go inverse him. Combine that with an awful recovery that's very linear and slow. Since he's slow in there, you can just juggle him forever, and he doesn't have a good landing option. So, like, he can't get a disadvantage. He holds the advantage alright with projectiles, especially Arcfire on the ledge. And then having down throw up air is a really nice thing to have. But once you get around that, he doesn't have much left. Next up is Roy, who I think is just discount Falcon. Like, he wants grabs and he wants jabs. And as long as you don't give him, like, jabs or grabs, or jump in airs, you can body him. And the thing is, his jab isn't that safe unless it's max space. His nair is not safe unless he spaces it well. Really, nothing he has is safe. And this grab range is slow. Add on to that, he has trouble landing because his fall speed is bad. He has trouble recovering because his recovery just kind of sucks. And you just have this character that gets blown up off one mistake. And even though he blows people up off one hit, they can just wait for the attack and punish him. Doc, bad clone of Mario. He has Mario's strengths of being really good up close, but he has a lot more trouble getting up close than Mario. So, like, the characters that wall out Mario wall out Doc even better. And most of the good characters are wallers in this game. Just because being a good character naturally involves spacing attacks. Ike is actually... I might actually be underrating Ike here. He's a pretty bad character. His aerials on block if the space threat is safe, but the problem is he has to space them really specifically. But he doesn't have that good of airspeed or ground speed to space them with. And if he whiffs the attacks, you can just punish them anyway. So, like, he has very specific spacings he has to work with. He has a decent grab game, but he's too slow to get it working a lot of times. He also has slow startup on a lot of his attacks, so you can just kind of challenge him. Even on the ground, he has pretty slow startup, so it's like, just get in his face, mash buttons. And his recovery, his side B is pretty decent, although you can challenge it. But his up B is bad. If you can force him low, you can just spike his up B, or certain characters like Rosa can use transcendent projectiles to hit him through up B over and over until he just dies from boredom. He is pretty heavy, which is nice for living, but his disadvantage state is really bad because he can't land due to having, like, no landing options. He does have a good edge guarding game, though. If he can get you off stage and charge neutral B, ooh, you might just die. Next, Pac-Man. This character's bleh. Basically, this character has a really good camping game, but he doesn't get much damage or throwing projectiles at you because he only has one projectile at a time, and you can see which one it is because he has to charge it. So you just get in your face to use them, and up close, Pac-Man is garbage. He has very small hitboxes, which don't really combo too much without projectile usage. Even then, you can kind of see the projectile setups once you know the matchup. Hydra's annoying for keeping you away, so if he gets like a decent lead, he can time you out. But you can just not let him get a decent lead by mashing attacks when he's next to you. And yeah, there's not much. He's a very weird character because I can't find anything else inherently wrong with him. Like, I'd have to go through all his different tools and explain why they're each bad. And he has some decent attributes, like he can combo off some aerials. When he gets setups going, they're really good setups. His trampoline is actually really good at keeping you away and dealing with shields, but it's just not enough. Now, Wii Fit Trainer is the biggest gimmick in this game. This character is, can you deal with ledge camping, the character? Like, if your character can't deal with Wii Fit throwing sun salutations and medicine balls from the ledge, you're actually going to lose. Or if your style is very impatient, you're going to lose. But if your character can just wait near the ledge and like hit her for grabbing it, then she'll just lose because eventually she'll just take too much damage because the salutation doesn't heal much, none of this deep breathing. And the thing is, up close, her combat just sucks. Grab game is whatever. Her Nair is really good if she can hit you with it, and her back air is decent for spacing, but her tilts and her smashes are all bad. The rest of her aerials aren't that good, and they all, even her back air and her neutral air, don't have that much range, so you can just challenge them. She's very easy to juggle, because even though she has like B reverse with down B, it's very slow, so you can miss an attack and just go for another one. Her edge guarding game is really nice, but she can't really force you to recover from the side unless your character is really slow in the air. You also can't edge guard her. We have F tier. F tier is just bottom tier non-viable characters. Starting off with Rob. So Rob is just a poor character. He gets put at disadvantage and just stays there forever. Big, heavy character. His Nair is alright for landing, but most characters can just outspace it with their up airs. So that stinks. His neutral is very predictable. Like, gyro setups are cool and all, but he has to charge gyro. You can just jump over it. Same with his laser. You can jump over his gyro and his laser neutral and pressure him. He doesn't have a good anti-air. Like, forward air is alright, but it's not enough. He has a decent grab game if you can get him, but he can't pressure you into situations where you can get grabbed. Because, like, up close, you don't shield versus him. And if he's at a distance, he can't dash into you and grab unless you're a potato. And so, the only thing he has in neutral is, like, Nairs, but it's a slow startup, so it's not like you should get hit by a Nair. You might block it, but you can't really follow up off block Nair either, because he doesn't have the best attacks. And, yeah, he just doesn't have much. I mean, up smash is cool if you roll into it, but just don't give him rolls or bad air dodges or spot dodges. Next up is the pits. Every time I make a tier list, I put him at worse and worse spots, I swear. My problem with the pits always has been, always will be, no win conditions. Like, yes, they have all these tools in neutral, but they don't add up into anything. His goal is win neutral over and over and land like a lucky smash or a back air or a grab near a ledge at high percents. And a game where characters have, like, setups that kill you at 60% and actual game plans that work, and, like, very strong strengths. A character that's really well-rounded, but, like, super average in just about everything, can't compete. So, yeah, this character hasn't been in the meta since Earth in, like, 2016. And Earth plays core now because the character just couldn't do it. Next is Palutena. Palutena basically has 3 good things. Her back air, which, we're used to dealing with ridiculous back airs now. Her dash attack, which is still punishable and blocks, so she can't even use it that much. And then her jab. Oh, and I guess her grab. But, like, her jab requires her to get up close. And there's no reason for you to shield enough for her to get up close with jabs. Unless you get that afraid of back airs and dash attacks, but you can always outspace them. And that's the main problem is, she doesn't have the ability to, like, pressure you with enough. Like, back air doesn't have that much range. Dash attack doesn't go that far. Jab, of course, is up close. Her grab game is good, but as long as you're not shielding, she shouldn't grab you. Her projectile isn't good. Her counter is the worst in the game. Her recovery is alright. Like, teleport recoveries are just naturally good. But she can't go off the ledge, really. Actually, her fair is alright, too. I forgot about that. But her fair doesn't carry her enough. Not when it's low damage. And, like, you can just not get hit by it. And then her landing game is really bad. Oh, that's kind of... Almost every character in the game has bad landing games. Of course. And, yeah. I don't know, she's godlike with customs. I think she was made bad without customs on purpose. Next is Charizard. Okay, maybe I'm actually underrating Charizard quite a bit here. But the problem is Charizard's kind of non-functional sometimes. Jab, like, doesn't set up into anything. Although I feel like it should set up into grab a lot of times. Nair is an alright spacing tool, but it's like Rob's Nair where it's a little bit too slow. Fair is decent. But since Charizard's so slow in the air, a lot of times you can just, like, outspace him jumping at you. Rock Smash is too slow to hit people with. Same with side B. In fact, if you side B, people can jab block you really easily, so that's not worth it. His up smash is a good juggling tool, actually. His grab game is decent with a good amount of range and a nice up throw. Of course, Flamethrower is an alright tool. But isn't, like, Flamethrower doesn't do enough. It's just kind of an annoying, like, I'm going to do some damage to you, or if you're Cloud, I'm going to edge guard you tool. I know people have said he's okay versus Cloud, but I think he still loses the Cloud. He's just not awful versus Cloud compared to most of the cast, especially characters in his area of the tier list. And yeah, he has all the issues of being a big character, which is, like, slow and bad disadvantage state, but he doesn't have the grab combos that kill you at 60 to balance it out. And even though he has a better neutral than most of them, like, he's just too slow to make use of his slightly better neutral tools. Next up, Kirby. Now, I said Kirby was the worst character before, and he may still be the worst character. Actually, no, he's not. But he's still a bad character. He's sort of like Game Watch where he relies on his grabs. The thing is, he has better aerials than Game & Watch by a decent margin, and his up tilt's good. But he has the same issue where he has to get in, and most characters keep him out really easily. And in fact, he's one of the easiest characters in the game to time out. Like, if you really want to and you're not playing like a slow character, you can just circle camp him on like any stage, and he can't approach you until you get lazy. And I think that's his biggest weakness, is that he doesn't play the game until the opponent wants to. So he never gets a good engagement. Speaking of not playing the game until the opponent wants to, Little Mac. Okay, we know already. Bad recovery. Ridiculous ground game. Awful air game. Put him in the air, whether it's off stage or above you, and he just gets bodied. The thing about Little Mac is you don't play the game versus him. If you play the game versus him, he's actually pretty good because super armor and stuff. But at ideal, optimal play, you just camp him forever, and the moment he goes for anything, like an up B or a jump, then you just run off the platform and hit him. Or block the attack and then hit him. And I think because of that, his results are never going to be awful because people don't play that way versus him. But he's an awful character because it's very easy to play that way versus him if you really want to win. Next, Diddy. He's just another slow character. His disadvantage is better than other heavies due to multiple jumps. But his attacks are already slow and punishable, like back air on landing is just easy to block and punish for most of the cast. Forward tilt's alright, but it can be blocked and punished. So, like, everything it has, you can block and punish. His grab game doesn't do that much. Like, it's probably the weakest grab game of all, like, the super heavyweights. His Gordo game would be good if you can't hit it back to him, but since you can hit his Gordo back to him and then just rush him down if he tries reflecting again, or just be in his face so he can't do it in the first place, it sucks. Because projectiles hit Gordo back to him, a lot of times you can just use a projectile and hit him, force him to block, or hit his Gordo or hit him with it. So he can't approach, nor can he force you to approach. His ledge game sucks because he's a big character who's slow. Just, like, don't let him do ledge drop, jump up air at you, and you'll be fine. And yeah, he doesn't have much going for him at all as a character. At least not compared to the rest of the cast. And now we're at my bottom 4, actually. And, like, I'm just going to say that there's just nothing redeeming about these characters. Like, Zelda has, like, a grab game if she can get it, sure, but she doesn't even have A buttons. She has spot dodge up B for gimmicking people. And she has forward air if you can really read someone and they can be dumb. And get hit by space forward air, but, like, that shouldn't happen. I guess dash attack's an alright burst option. But, like, she has to outplay her opponent and make hard reads with dash attacks, grabs, and, like, everything to get anything going. Ganondorf is obviously meant to be a for fun character, big, slow character. Actually has good attacks up close. But the problem is he's so slow that similar to, like, other slow characters, he doesn't get to choose his engagement. So he's easy to camp out, but he also has one of the worst recoveries in the game. His ledge magnet is the biggest in the game by far. But if you hit him off stage, you just have to keep hitting him. And as long as you don't get hit by side B, which is easy to avoid, just be, like, slightly above him, then you'll be fine. He has a decent edge guarding game as well, but, like, he's so slow that a lot of times you can only edge guard other slow characters. And finally, when he hits you on block, you can't punish a lot of his stuff on block if it's spaced well. But that's why you just don't give him, like, the distance hit you on block. And of course, since he's so slow, he's easy to juggle like everyone else. Bowser Jr. is just the unfortunate result of a character being rushed out. And I say this because I feel like there's no idea behind him. I feel like Bowser Jr. was just a character given a lot of bad tools. Like, neutral B does not exist. Down B is a really slow tool. Side B is like a bad Sonic side B. His aerials are decent. But, like, they're so much worse than other disjoints. His dash attack is awful. His grab game is non-existent. His up air is ridiculously good for some reason. His down air is good when it hits, but it's super easy to punish if it doesn't hit. He has some recovery options, but it's easy to cover them all at once. He actually has not an awful landing game because of side B and down air. So that's something going for him. But because his head takes more damage and knockback, and when you throw him, he turns around in the air so you can hit him in the head easier, he actually is easy to combo and kill compared to most of the cast. And it's just like, all these things, it's like, why? His smashes are pretty powerful, sure, but they're all really, really punishable. And easy to see coming. mainly because like they're not much range. And yeah, he's just a bad character. I can't give him anything. I kind of wouldn't mind if he didn't return for Smash Switch. And then finally, Jigglypuff. I mean, okay, we already know. I know Cabinet's been doing work with her. I know he beat Larry with her. But honestly, as long as you don't run to the ledge where Jigglypuff is doing Sing stalling, she won't get Sing on you and then she won't rest you. Unless you make a really bad mistake. And basically, as long as you just play a really safe spacing game with any character, she should not get in and hit you much. Like, you know, she was meant to be a gimmick character. Lightest in the game, low range, no grab game, bad ground game in general. Only, like, one good aerial. Her recovery is alright, but actually it's easy to edgeguard her because she can't challenge most edgeguards. And, yeah. And then finally the Mii's, like, okay, all the Mii's are pretty bad without, like, if you can't change the Mii sizes, they're pretty bad. If you had, like, custom small Mii Brawler, you'd have, like, a top tier. Same with, like, Mii Gunner. But regular size Mii's, even with all different custom movesets, are like maybe mid-tier at best. And the 1-1-1 Mii's are all just non-functional characters. But there's not much data in them, so it's hard to say. But yeah, here's my tier list. That was a lot of characters and things to talk about. So sorry if I glossed over a lot of the characters and stuff, but I just wanted to get it out with my thoughts before Smash 4 is over. And let's all enjoy Smash Switch at E3 in 1 week. I'm gonna be so analyzing that. Like, I'm just gonna have like a stream and stuff where I'm just gonna be breaking down every single frame, figuring everything out. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, guys, peace out.